Evolving digital landscape. For your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today we are going to look at sales and about how we can bring some human contact and touch into the sales process and stand out from the people who are maybe not so focused on being human about it. My guest is Kayvon K, and he is a high-ticket sales expert who's trained over 30,000 sales reps across 101 countries. He's taken businesses from marketing qualified leads to sales qualified leads, closing high-value deals with precision, and he's able to turn pipelines with 6,000 leads into $265K in revenue in 30 days, or scaling a business to $38 million in gross revs in a short time. Kayvon, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. So great to be here.
Yeah, I love your bio and the intensity with which your bio screams about who you are as a person.
Love it. Yeah, Well, again, I hope I always say don't have too big of a bio where you can't outshine your bio. So no pressure here.
Yeah. No, it's good. I love how you position yourself. And how did you end up in the sales role? That's the first question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Sales I kind of grew up in sales. You know, I would say I'm that entrepreneur who was written off, in an early age. In grade 1, they labeled me with every letter in the book: ADD, ADHD, LD, and reading, writing, math, communication. Like, what was left? Phys ed.
Yeah, right.
So I've always felt that I was in a sales kind of a fight sales mode, always kind of protecting and defending that narrative that was on me. And then, so kind of growing up with that, always trying to figure out ways to sell and just be strategic, got me into more of a sales kind of career, sales role. I started selling, 11, 12 years old. And then with my uncle at a furniture shop, I used to go hang out with him. And then I got my first real sales career when I was around 18. And then ever since then, I'm now over 30 years in sales, if not more. And then what happened was my last pharmaceutical, I was the number one pharmaceutical sales rep for the largest company in the country. And I saw what corporate world was going to look like, and it just was not for me at all.
Right.
No matter what, the idea of it was not for me. So I ventured off into the internet marketing world.
Nice.
Where I found myself, full of, I say, piss and vinegar. Thought it was going to be easy. And sure enough, a year later, I was 7 days away from being bankrupt.
Ooh,
no idea what I was going to do.
That gets your attention, doesn't it?
That gets your attention for sure. I mean, you feel the pain for sure. You're going from I was working one day a week, $250,000, $300,000 paying job, company credit card, the car, all of it to not just broke, almost bankrupt.
Yep.
And then I stumbled upon a career. I spent the industry that I now pride myself in, which is high ticket sales. And I had a mentor that said, "Stop trying to be the man, go sell for the man." And he showed me he showed me the opportunity that there's a world where all of these online gurus, they have high ticket offers on the back end.
Sure.
They need salespeople. Needless to say, within my first 30 days, I went from losing $25,000 a month trying to build a business to earning $25,000 in commissions without any business expenses.
Nice.
It was a life-changing for me.
Sure.
And then shortly after that, I partnered up with that mentor, and we actually built, at that point, one of the largest training companies in our space, the High Ticket Closer. We had over 10,000 students in 101 different countries. We went from 0 to 38 million in 18 months.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome.
Teaching this very, the very skill that I use to change my life around. And then I ventured off there, opened up an agency, and now recently coming back to teaching the skill again, because it's still 8 years later, it is needed. There's more. There's more need of high ticket closers in the marketplace than ever before. And it's interesting because we're talking about AI on this podcast, and everyone keeps saying, "Hey, AI is going to replace salespeople." And I actually, the answer is yes, and it's going to replace the bottom half of the salespeople 100%. It's going to replace setters, I would say 100%. But every team is still going to need a qualified 10 out of 10 salesperson, because someone needs to train that AI. Someone needs to pick up what that AI can do. Right. And someone needs to bring in what I call as a human connection. Because at the end of the day, the AI is great. It helps us. But my firm belief, AI isn't going to replace humans. Humans who know how to leverage and use AI will replace humans who don't.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think we're aligned on that. Let's talk about that a little bit, about how you train people in terms of rapport building from an initial conversation.
So how do I build rapport?
Yeah.
Well, so let's take a step back here. One of my expertise in high tech closing is we're usually speaking with qualified buyers. Okay. These are marketing qualified leads, right? Yep. So in that case, we already have the rapport built because of the marketing. We know a little bit about them. Right. They filled out an application. They've raised their hand. So our job as we join the conversation now, as we have the human interaction, the human connection, our job, I say it's like a doctor. It's very consultative. You're asking the right questions. You're listening. The more you talk, the less you sell. Completely opposite of, traditional sales, conventional sales wisdom. It's about asking the right questions at the right time. Trust, rapport, let's call it. I'm not a big fan of the word rapport, because I think if I have to create rapport, that means I'm trying to create an energy, because someone told me that there needs to be a certain rapport for me to make a sale, which out of the gate, I think is just already gone.
It's artificial at that point.
It's artificial. It's already wrong. So I'm not I changed rapport to connection. So how do you create a connection? Okay, well, let's talk about that. How you create a connection is you ask the question, you get curious. You ask the questions, just like a doctor would ask. You shut up and you listen. See, most salespeople, like I'm doing right now, because we're on a podcast, I'm supposed to do that. They talk. Yep. But in a sales conversation, the less you talk, the more you sell.
Love it. Yeah. I'm curious about, just in a rough number, about how many sales books have you read over the course of your life?
Infinite. I couldn't even put. I mean, I put in perspective, and my friends, some of my close friends, they still talk about this. Like when I was 17 driving around, I had audio sale books in. I had mindset books in. At 18 years old, I've never stopped. I actually, when I had one of my first traveling sales jobs where I was in the car all day, I remember one of my best friend's fathers, who was very successful, he asked me, he said, Kayvon, what do you do in the car, like when you're driving all day? And at that time, I was like, calling friends, listen to the radio, listen to music, blah, blah, blah. And I remember the disgust. I'll never forget the disgust on his face.
All right.
And he said to me, he goes, that is the most complete waste of time I've ever heard. He's like, you should at least be listening to an audiobook or even the news or something of value, right?
Nice.
And ever since that day, sometimes people need to hear it 10 times, 20 times. Yep. That look and that disgust was the only time I needed to hear it to realize that I can leverage that time and learn and gain skills. So I started buying audiobooks on sales books, and from the Brian Tracy's to the Zig Ziglars and beyond, like all the OGs. And every day it's just about learning and growing. So for me to say how many sales books I have, hundreds, I'd say hundreds of sales books, hundreds of audio books. I don't believe that you ever stop learning. I think the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing.
Right.
The problem with that is it would work if everyone else stopped. But when
Right.
you stop and everyone else around you continues,
Yeah.
you're not actually staying at the same place. You're actually falling behind, just like AI.
For sure.
You'd be incredible. I don't know what the stat was, but when GPT came out, everything, all that changed my world instantaneously. Changed my world.
Yeah. Okay.
Changed my way of sales, changed everything. It's just not even a question of a doubt. Like I'm on GPT all day long. Why wouldn't you be? Like, but it's crazy to me how many people I meet that go, yeah, that's that AI thing. Like, yeah, that's not for me.
Right.
It's cringeworthy hearing it, but it's exciting. Why? Selfishly, I'll just say it selfishly. It's exciting because I'm like, the fact that you don't even know that and that you have that mentality, it shows me that just like when COVID happened and just like when recession happens and we're in I think anyone can say we're in some type of time today. There's going to be two different types of people. The ones that learn, grow, adapt, and take what most people look as maybe a loss or a negative and turn it into a positive and help it fuel you to your next level. Or you stay in the same spot, you take the vacation like most people went through COVID. When COVID started, I said this. I always say, go back. You'll hear me. I said, there's going to be two types of people that come out of this. The first type that take this as literally a vacation, stay at home, do nothing, spend the government money, do everything the same. Problem with that is when we get out of COVID, the world's going to look completely different. And those people are going to be behind. Or the second class of people who are going to realize this is a time for growth, a time for change, time to adapt. And when they get out of this, they're going to be much more ahead. And sure enough, you see that. You see that happening right now.
Well, talk to me about how you're using Chat GPT through the sales cycle. Like how are you?
When I say so for instance, if I'm going back and forth on an email, let me put it just perspective. I have won more cases with the law using ChatGPT and never using my lawyer.
Right.
Getting money from people, recouping money, getting out of I don't want to. There is a service that everybody knows that starts with a sales and ends with a force. And it is you sign a contract with them, you're signing your life away. Yep. I think I'm the first person in history who used GPT for probably 3 months to finally get out of a contract that I was locked in for 2 years.
Nice.
That's one way.
Yeah.
Another way I use that is sometimes back and forth emails with somebody.
Uh-huh.
If instead of me having to sit there and go, okay, and go, when you type and you backspace and you type and you backspace, and you sit there and you spend 30 minutes trying to figure out GPT, and then I feed it. Here's the thing with this before I go too deep in here. People go, well, that's cheating, or they go, oh, well, you're going to rely on this thing to do the thinking. No. The GPT, let's call it, whatever modality that, Claude, there's so many of them out there, but they only work as much as you feed it.
Sure.
If you feed it crap, it gives you crap. Yeah. If you don't have the intelligence to know what to ask, it ain't going to give you the answers. So what it does is it just takes things that would take me 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and now I get them done in 2-3 minutes.
It's a lever for sure. Yeah,
it's like the amount of output that I can get done it's insane.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So you're using it for tactical things like email. Are you using it strategically in any way to help you think?
Strategically for conversations too. So if I'm writing a sales conversation, or if I'm writing a text, or if I'm worrying about communication with internal stakeholders, I will actually feed it to GPT first and ask it, what kind of tone is this? Well, how is this coming across? And help me fix it to whatever the tone I want.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get some feedback.
It's also a place for feedback, create place for ideas. Yeah. It's so there's that, and then there's so many tools out there. There was another tool that we use called Balto. This is an AI tool that listens to your calls. Okay. It listens to your calls live time.
Nice.
You have the script built in. It has a check marks. So as I'm going through my script, it will tell me if I'm on track, if I'm not on track. At the end of it, it does the sales analysis. It tells you what percent you talked, what percent they talked. It does a summary of, all of them. Fathom now. There's so many AI tools that you can use to your advantage. Again, you can run away from the thing that you can't fight and hide. And unfortunately, I like to say that works, but I don't believe that works. I believe you're going to wake up with a world into a world that no longer exists. There's a quote from Eric Hofferman. It says, in times of change, the learners will inherit the earth while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
And that's literally what's happening right now in the world of AI.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, what does it look like? What kind of clients are you looking for to help train salespeople?
We talk whether they're coaches, consultants, business owners that have sales teams.
Yeah.
And that they need it's either sales training, they need sales fulfillment, or even if they need to qualify their salespeople, we do that. And then there are the people who want to become salespeople, want to learn how to be able to listen. Here's the reality of the world that I live in. You sit at home, you take qualified leads, not cold leads that raise their hands, buyer leads, people who've already purchased something.
Yep.
You call them, you flap your gums for 30 minutes and you make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in commissions. I don't know an easier job than that, to be honest with you, that I've seen. It's life changing. So I have something called the First Class Closers, where I teach people. This is a program that I teach you over 8 weeks how to be able to actually change your life, create income, guarantee you a job. Because I have a lot of clients who need sales reps, and they come to me because of my expertise, and they know if you're getting a sales rep from me, they're going to be successful.
I love it. So you have a pretty relatively short training window for people who want the training. And then what does that look like? What's that training look like? What's that 8 weeks look like?
It's an 8-week module that we put them through. It's a live training with me. And basically we go from week 1, which is really about their mindset identity. Because I'll tell you something in sales. Doesn't matter what product you have. It doesn't matter, what the price of the product is, what the features, the benefits, all of that, the gadgets, none of that matters. When you're selling over the phone, you're selling high ticket premium prices. The first thing that matters is you.
Right.
Is how you show up, how you represent yourself. What self are you showing up with, your higher self, your lower self? Do you have the clarity? Do you have the conviction? Do you have the certainty? So we work on the mindset. We work on all the limiting beliefs. Because if you have any negative connotation towards sales or connotation towards selling, or thinking that selling is evil, most people think sales is evil, right? Yeah. It's never going to work. So we got to work first on the mindset, right? We got to change the operating, the way they operate internally, because your sales are a direct reflection of the results you get. So as we can take change their operating system, then we give them the new skill, and then the skill becomes easy. Because these are proven. This is a proven system that works. The script that I use is proven. It's the same one over and over, just dressed up a little differently. So if you understand what I always say is the spirit of what we're doing, the ideology that we're not actually in a position of sales. We're in a position to be doctors. They have a problem. Our job is to understand that problem. Our job is to go deep into that problem and really understand what's going on, why it's not working, what their fears are, what's holding them back. Then have a better understanding of what success looks like, which we call as the promised land.
Sure.
Taking them, in a year from now, 6 months from now, what does success look like? What needs to happen? What is it that you're truly excited about? And then we connect that to the consequence. Well, what happens if you don't move forward?
Right.
How long can you stay in the game? How long can your business keep hemorrhaging money before you go out of business? And then from there, you present them the solution, which I call a dynamic solution, which is it's not the same pitch day in and day out. It's a different solution, dynamic solution for the pain that they're in. There's like a doctor. You don't go see a doctor and go in for hip surgery and come out with Tylenol, right? Like it just doesn't hurt. Like you go in with a headache. We go in with a headache and you leave with a hip surgery. You go in, doctor asks questions, diagnose, figure out what's happening, then they prescribe. Same thing here.
Right. Yeah, so you're fitting solutions to match their problems and their breakdowns and what their goals
Which
are.
Goes against the main saying you'll always hear in the bro sales. Always be ABC. What? Always be what? Closing? No.
Yeah, coffee is for closers.
Always be connecting.
Nice.
Not closing. Yeah. Well, I don't, it says, sell me this pen. No. Why would I sell you? Do you need a pen? Right. No, I'm not selling you it. Like sell rubbers to a monk or ice to an Eskimo. Like they don't need that. Why would I sell them that?
Yeah.
Right. It's about being having integrity.
Yeah.
So it's about offering solutions to people's problems that they actually have, not trying to create fake problems and offer them solutions that they don't need.
Yeah.
That works for a little bit, but it doesn't work for a long time.
Yeah. And you don't feel good about yourself when you're engaged in that kind of process.
Absolutely. You're not integra. Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's cool. I appreciate your philosophy and I appreciate you spending time with me today. How do people get in touch with you if they want to improve
it's
their
very
sales
simple.
process?
They just go to the salesconnection.com. You can get in touch with it. You'll have everything you need from there. That's the salesconnection.com. All
right, cool. And it'll be in the show notes, and we'll make sure it's easy for people to find you that way. And I appreciate, I really do appreciate your time, and I'm grateful that you shared with me the philosophy that you have around sales and connection, not closing.
There it is. I love it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, Kayvon. You have a great day. All right.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn.